Hi, my name is Julian Egan. I have been an employee in the auto industry for the almost last 30 years, and recently, I believe, I have stumbled on a discovery which I believe can be very advantageous to my employer. 4 years ago, I was working in the plant on a job. I'm a sheet metal worker in the plant, and I needed to do some grinding. I didn't have my own grinder, and I went out to one of the zones and borrowed a large clunky old 8-inch grinder. And when I got it back to the shop and I put my workpiece on the bench and I went to work on it, when I engaged the switch, the grinder almost hit me in the face because the kick. And I stood back, and when I engaged it again, it wanted to go up. And once I got my thoughts together and everything, I thought, wow, could this be another form of flying, or weightlessness? I took the grinder and I held it out here. I couldn't comfortably lift it past 30 degrees, but when I engaged the button, it came up to a floating 90 degrees. Now, as a self-appointed scientist, I immediately dismissed this because I'm standing on the ground. Therefore, any of the waves that are coming from this thing cannot go down. They're all bouncing through me up and therefore being lifted up. But I thought to myself, if there was some way of cancelling out even part of the bottom part of the swing on that, then we could be looking at a new form of momentum. But I was dismissive because of this fact. However, it was a very short period later that I went over and I was talking to one of the welders, an interesting chap. And he was talking about a documentary he'd seen a couple of nights previous. And he says, you know what they say? That Bumblebee. And as soon as he said Bumblebee, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. He says, yeah. Apparently they've only got these really small wings. They're a big insect. And they can't support themselves with the wings they got. Nobody knows how they fly. I thought, I think I do. And I took him over and I showed him this grinder. And when he engaged it, he says, you know what? You're probably right. I know now, I was right. Now, I recently read in an article by National Geographic that they had decided that a bumblebee flies through 2 forward motions and 1 backward motion of the wings. It's a very, very laboured explanation, and I respectfully correct you, but it's only because I know something you don't. The bumblebee does not fly by its wings at all. The wings are merely navigational devices. There are concentric muscles, or there are muscles inside the bumblebee in its upper neck which power the wings, yes, but what we've never looked at is that the motor itself is the elevating device. The motor is a series of muscles, or one muscle, which has a small swing on the bottom end and a high swing on the top end, giving the bumblebee his bumblous sound, that drone that he has. I've taken 4 years to develop a model. I was talking to one of the other tinsmiths in the plant a month ago, and it was while we were discussing ways of turning what happens in the bumblebee into a model that we could use to demonstrate mechanical weightlessness. And I remember staring at this friend's face, and I had had these really exotic ideas, spheres rotating within spheres with a weight attached to the side, that if we had 3 or 4 spheres all spinning in different directions, it would become weightless. But it was while we were talking that the simplest, the purest of ideas came. And it's so pure that it's the only way it can be done. When you see it, you'll realize how simple it is. The only reason no one's discovered it before is because they weren't looking for it. I was looking for it. And if I was a little brighter, I might have discovered it 2 or 3 years ago. But it is so simplistic. Anyone with the most basic degree in mechanical engineering will give it the full go-ahead. I can build this motor in 10 days. I can build a vehicle 20 days after that. And I can have a weightless vehicle for the 2009 auto show, should I be given the full go-ahead. Thank you.